Have you heard any of the ghost stories or legends about the campus?
Yes, that's like one of the first things you hear.
Yeah, there are a plethora of stories out there, ranging from different halls being haunted. Pearson's across the street, Wilder, is probably the most famous for being haunted. Prospect by Lower Lake.
I do know Mary Lyon pretty well.
We've actually heard a couple myths about Mary Lyon and the burning of the seminary building. And how when the seminary building burned, the only piece of furniture that didn't get burned was the Mary Lyon painting that was on the wall. Is that true?
That is not true. There was quite a bit saved. A number of other portraits were saved. I think some furniture, some students' possessions, but the building really burned very quickly. And most teachers and students lost all of their possessions.
And they also say that, I hear that everybody got out unharmed.
Everybody did? It was
and they
incredible.
Say that maybe it was her ghost that was watching over the school.
Could be. We hope so. It would be a very benevolent ghost to have around.
Yeah.
She is buried on campus.
Yeah, that's also what we hear. We've also heard that maybe she wasn't. Maybe there was a sister college that maybe...
Well, I think Wheaton College tried very hard to get her buried there, so this was her home.
It's just funny how myths and hauntings, you know, all these stories come about because, for instance, I was in a play my junior year and we had these puppets that we brought out in the third act. I threw mine out on the dumpster in Dickinson, which is the dorm across 116. And senior year, like maybe the first 2 weeks back, there's all these rumors about like this Mary Lyon, who was the founder of the college. There's this Mary Lyon doll like roaming around campus and making her way, and like, you know, just like anything else, just like all these other haunting stories, I just didn't listen to it. And then another girl who was in the show with me encountered it at Porter, basically two opposite sides of campus. She saw the doll. She was like, "Oh, that's not the Mary Lyon doll. Like, that's the doll here. I'll show you like how it works and this and that." And she had something that looked like a bonnet on, which Mary Lyon wore. So I can see why it was easily, you know, confused for a Mary Lyon doll. But of course, there were all these, you know, people wanting to make it more than it was. You know, oh, that's the Mary Lyon doll. That's Mary Lyon reincarnated, and she's here with her bloodshot eyes and her bonnet. Whereas it was just a doll that I had put together myself for a play. I don't know how she made it from the dumpster of Dickinson to Porter. That I don't know. Wilder is probably the most famous for being haunted.
Supposedly a girl had hung herself from one of the windows, and that room is regarded as a ghost room. The door handle hasn't changed. It's still a glass handle, where all the other rooms have been updated and are being used. Actually, a few years ago, some students who lived near that ghost room on the 4th floor heard some pounding on walls, people laughing, running around, and thought, because the room is kept locked, so they thought students had broken in there and were running around, and they called campus security. Campus security came, and the room was locked up and there was nobody there, so they got a little spooked by that.
403, that room. I guess there's a level of superstition there because I'm not going to go and, you know, gallivant around the room that is supposedly haunted. I don't want to mess with it in case I'm wrong, you know.
On the campus, about 10 years ago, there was a conference here. And people came from all over, and they got individual rooms in the Wilder dorm. And for some reason, these people started calling that evening and said that they wanted to move to another dorm. And it just happened that they refused to stay in there because they knew somebody was in there talking to them and telling them that they had to get out.
And we've also been hearing stories about the Wilder building. And there's some pretty interesting story about a girl who supposedly hung herself on the 4th floor. Is that true?
There are a lot of ghost stories set at Mount Holyoke, and on the archives website, in fact, there are quite a few of those. I think these are similar to what are called urban legends, where in a particular environment you hear these same kinds of stories over and over again. As far as anybody killing themselves on campus, there's no evidence of that.
So have you heard any other ghost stories that, of course, you said probably aren't true, but just as...
Well, they seem to be coming up regularly, especially centered on Wilder, and I don't quite know why, but that seems to be the location where most stories are.
And are you excited to go on the campus ghost walk?
Yeah, when is that?
I think it's tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'm so excited. Yeah, definitely. I'm excited to see like what parts of campus they're going to showcase. Because I just feel like there's so much of it, and I feel like they're going to do it after dark too, and I feel like it could be good. I'm also a little bit nervous because I feel like it could create like a campus-wide social problem with people being like really afraid and like there being like them thinking there's ghosts everywhere.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
What things are you looking forward to?
Being super scared. I'll probably pee my pants. Yeah, I like being scared. It's fun.
There's a creepier tone to Lower Lake because no one knows the real story of who drowned here. If you stand too close, someone will push you in and pull you under. So not to scare anyone, but more to warn to not go swimming in Lower Lake because there have been incidents where people are pulled under to their watery grave. Memorial Library was built in 1905. However, it was built on the site of the old library, which was built in 1870. Very old. There's one story that sticks out to me when I came to Mount Holyoke, and I was interested in some of the ghost stories that one of our TAs told me. She said a long time ago, but not too far from right now, Mount Holyoke was undergoing their semesterly finals, which draws a lot of students to the library, obviously. One night, a janitor was cleaning, probably around 2 o'clock, and he saw a student still in the library. She was like working heavily on some kind of project or whatever, and he offered her to walk her out. And so they got to the elevator. So he presses the first floor, because that's obviously where you come out. And he's like, "Oh, I didn't ask you your name." When he turned to her, she was completely gone, vanished, nowhere in sight. And the janitor quit that day, never to return to Mount Holyoke again.
Sit down. No.
There's like these weird kind of occurrences.
Okay, don't wait. What are you guys doing? I don't think that's Addie.
Let's move on to the grave. People have often like seen her like kind of walking around the courtyard sometimes at night.
Hi, I'm Jules, and I'm Maddie. So, what did you guys think of the campus ghost walk? It really freaks me out. I scare pretty easily, and I'm scared out of my mind. On the flip side, it didn't scare me that much. I'm like, I don't get scared at things that easily, and I knew everyone was in it. Like the library really freaked me out because the lights were flickering, and I noticed that, and she starts talking about them. Disappeared. I loved the humming children. That was such a good touch. When we were Mary Line's grave, they started walking around us and like humming. Oh my gosh.
Mainly ghosts at Mount Holyoke are more helpful rather than hurtful.
They seem to be, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's such a nice school. We also have nice ghosts.
That's true. That's true. A lot of supportive women ghosts.
Exactly.
I believe that something has to be true about this because it seems to be happening in a number of cases all over the country and all over the world. People are coming up with these little stories that things happening. And I just don't think that all of these people can be making them up. I know it seems kind of strange to believe in that thing, but I just feel that something is there. Something's got to be there.